Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing. We are here again with another episode of Sex in the City. I am your host, Chris Mack, and I'm here with my other host,
Elizabeth Stanton.
Yes. And we are talking today Sex in the City, Sex and Another City.
They're
Yes.
still in beautiful sunny Los Angeles for
Yes.
the longest work vacation or work trip I've ever seen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, especially for somebody who like didn't even really come to do what they came to do. They
Yeah.
especially too as New Yorkers who like low key are hating on New York, spending a lot of
Right.
time there.
And also, like, she clearly blew off the other Matthew McConaughey meeting. So, like,
Right.
if I were the company, I'd be like, okay, we'll buy from the hotel. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they are on their own dime at this point. You know what I
Maybe.
mean? Maybe. I mean, because I feel like, especially in Hollywood, they cut that shit off real quick.
Yeah, they're like,
You know what I mean? Oh, she's not working with us? Cool. Bye. See, like,
peace out.
yeah. You got like fucking within 2 hours, like order all again from room service
Yeah.
before they cut it off. Cool. So who do we want to start with today?
You want to start with?
What you feeling?
Speaking of just New Yorkers getting acclimated to Los Angeles, let's start with Miranda.
Let's do it. So Miranda, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's we're the same minded. That's all it is. We've been doing this for a while.
Synchronicity,
yes,
baby.
It is. Yeah.
Which is on brand for the plot line.
Yes, it is.
So Miranda is gonna have lunch with her friend Letterman Luke, because he used to write for David Letterman,
yes.
And then he got a job writing on a sitcom out here in beautiful sunny Los Angeles.
Oh man.
And when they meet at the like Flowing Tree Cafe, he's totally changed. He's all Mr. Los Angeles. He's lost some weight.
Yeah.
He's into like
all zenned up and
juices and stuff. And the best
infusions. That's what he was like. Infusions is what he loves.
And at the end of their conversation, he's like, "Do you want to go on a hike?" Which is the most LA question ever.
I wrote that like even when he was just talking about like the juices and infusions, I was like, oh, he's fully immersed in LA culture now. Like there's no stopping him. He's the worst. And it was so crazy too, because Miranda was like so happy that she was going to see a friend from New York, or at least another friend.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of commiserate on how New York is so much better.
Yeah.
And he hit her with the complete opposite.
Yeah, because he's like, I've let go of my anger. I'm happier. I'm outside more, which is a benefit, I will say, of Los Angeles, is being able to be outside way more often.
Absolutely. And it also being like pretty badass weather like throughout the entire year. I mean, you can't beat that. Like New York, it gets super hot. It also gets super cold. I mean, and then like there's like 2 weeks of spring that they get, and then it's just shitty after that. So,
So it's tough to beat. And so then his like kind of Zen influence rubs off on Miranda during the like whole rest of the episode. Like Charlotte visits. We'll get to that in a minute. And she's like, maybe your journeys are just different. You're on different paths.
Yes.
And Charlotte's like, what the fuck?
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, what just happened? Who's this person that just spoke?
Who's this pod person?
This is I know, dude. If she'd have gotten like she'd have went to like Santa Monica and got like the one braid of beads, I'd have turned it off. Like, y'all doing too much.
But then it all comes crashing down, as it like literally always does for Miranda.
Yes.
She goes to steak dinner with Letterman Lou, who I feel like they're at Musso and Frank's for dinner. But now I don't think the more I think about it, I can't decide.
They might be there for dinner. I know for when they met for lunch or whatever, I'm pretty sure that was the den. It was probably something else at the time of like the time that they shot in it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it had the den structure from like the back bar to the back bathroom and everything. It looked so much like the den. I was like, I'm pretty sure it is. And even too, like, you know how in the middle part, when you're like in the middle of the den, they have that fireplace there?
Yeah.
It had it right there. Yeah.
And that was the Tree Cafe place, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Tree Cafe, the place they went for lunch. And I said, I don't know what it was before it was the den, because the den's only been around for like 7 or 8 years. Yeah. So it clearly wasn't the den back then, but it was definitely that structure for sure.
Yeah, and so the interior looked very much like Musso and Frank's to me.
Yes,
but I feel like it was
Tony's too.
Yeah, that might have been it.
It could have been Tony's too.
Either way, fun to just be like, aha, I know that place.
Well, it's also too, it's like kind of funny because I feel like, you know, maybe in the earlier seasons, a lot like some of the show was maybe shot in LA, you know what I mean? So
no,
like
I believe it was always
shot in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
cool. I'm surprised because usually most, like, especially nowadays, most shows like, oh, this is New York, but it's downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, they've always been like thoroughly New York in their production.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's dope. That's awesome.
Yeah. But they're at dinner and they both order a steak and Miranda takes a bite of hers and is like, oh man, that's delicious. And he's chewing his and then spits it out. And she's like, oh, is there something wrong with it? And he's like, no. And he basically is only chewing it for the flavor, but doesn't want to eat it because it's too many calories.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Oh man. It was like funny, but also sad because of like the situation. But it was like, that is low key a thing that was happening in LA for a long time. Like people were talking about like people that would just like chew their food and then spit it out, like people do on sets, you know what I mean? Because they don't want to do take after take. And that was like a fad, especially in like the modeling industry. That was a thing for a while. Yeah. It was crazy. I
definitely remember being like reading something or not being suggested to me personally or anything like that, thank God, but definitely like
Jesus.
The you know, the thought of like, well, you know, you can still enjoy stuff, you don't need to swallow it because like, oh, it's a lot of calories because diet culture is fucked. This just proves how harmful it is for dudes too in the long run.
Yeah. Well, that's the crazy thing is like this New York guy comes in and like, fuck LA, I'm not gonna buy into all this bullshit, and now he's chewing steak and spitting it out like with his Knicks hat on still.
And she's rightfully upset because that's disgusting.
That's wild.
I don't like watching people eat to begin with. I don't find like even like, you know, sensual eating where like people are feeding things to each other or always grosses me out. No, can't even do it. So the fact someone just even casually is chewing and then spitting their food into a napkin, no, thank you.
Also, I'm because I'm that person and I get high and I watch this shit. I'm like, where are you putting that shit, bro? Like after you spit it out, where are you putting it?
Right.
Oh, are y'all just spitting it all in a napkin? You disgusting pig. Like,
and then you're gonna leave that napkin like there on your plate?
Yes.
For someone to come take care of? Oh, just disgusting.
I mean, to be fair, in a restaurant like that, they probably are like prepared for that.
They're probably like, very good, sir.
Yeah,
excellent,
like,
excellent, disgusting habit. Wonderful, sir. Thank you.
We'll give it to the restaurant next door. They'll just fry it up and put some peppers on it and shit.
Where do they get the meat for those taco cart? No, exactly. Or the hot dog cart, any cart.
I know, but at 2 a.m. you don't give up.
You don't. What do they call them? Danger dogs. If you get those, I've heard them called danger dogs. Where because sometimes outside of clubs, there's like the little hot dog cart or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've definitely heard it called danger dog because like, hey, you don't really know its provenance and how long it's been like that.
You're absolutely correct, but when they wrap that motherfucker,
but man, is it good?
You don't care. Yeah, you don't care. They wrap it in bacon. They put a little mustard on it. You don't give a fuck.
Primo.
Period.
Good shit.
Fantastic.
A plus. A not health rating, just deliciousness.
No, just strictly delicious. We're only strictly talking flavor now. Anything else is. Don't even ask us in that category. Just flavor.
The other funny thing too is she's like, well, why do you care so much about how you look? You're a writer, like you're behind the scenes. It doesn't matter. And he's like, it does matter here. You know, he's under pressure. No one's gonna hire a fat story editor. And like, I'll say there's like pressure behind the scenes, but I don't think he had to like go quite so eating disorder messed up in the brain to do that. But you know, because trust me, there are like unshapely writers and story editors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not like Hollywood writers are just out there looking like they just stepped out of a comic book. Like, chill, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a writer. Take it easy. Like, you don't need to be physically fit. Just, able to do your job. Now, I will say, working out as a writer is a good idea because it helps with like brain function and all that shit. So like that, as a writer, you would want to do some sort of exercise, but you don't got to be trim. Like, there
is in truth and it has been proven there's like biases against more overweight people in various industries as far as hiring. Where they just, it's sort of like a stereotype with being overweight is assumed that like you aren't like competent or you're lazy or something like that. So you're not gonna be as good at the job. So like he's kind of justified in that sense. Like,
sure.
Again, I've never run into it, but I am a plus size individual, and I from time to time I get a little stressed. But it's I'm sorry, I've worked on dozens of red carpets at the weight I'm at, and it's never been an issue. Which is cool actually. It's almost surprised. I did have actually a therapist ask if I felt uncomfortable because I was one of the fewer plus size folks on the carpet. I said, well, not until you fucking brought it up. Because I really hadn't been like,
right, you just enjoyed yourself.
I was enjoying myself, and I knew regardless of like whether I was in full like slimmer shape or not, I knew regardless you have to dress nice and look nice on those things anyway, like put together. So it was never like slobby, like, which is another like a negative association. That's 100% true. In the workplace, like things are so casual now, but there are still things I will not allow myself to wear to work because I know it will look to other people like I'm too casual, even though I could be wearing the same like slouchy shirt or slouchy pants or whatever. But if it's a thinner coworker, people are like, oh, that's kind of cool and stylish. I do it. It can be, you kind of didn't really dress up for work today, did you? And I'm not saying that about my particular office. I actually really enjoy my bosses, and they're like good people, but it's true, 100% true for other people in other cases. And like,
I believe it.
I know it's influenced how I like dress for the office, like to this day. So
Letterman
lose that 100% wrong. But he's also driven himself to a horrifying eating disorder, so that's not good either.
Right. Yeah.
There's got to be a middle ground, Lou. You can have a steak.
Right. Like it's like some part of that could be like his own like mental disorder, but also it could be the business driving him to that.
I think it's a little column A, column B.
Yeah.
This was also still a time where I think like fat was really demonized, like in food, like we had low fat everything. We were still having low fat everything, which it turns out, they just replaced all that fat with sugar. And that's just even worse for you.
Yeah. Like, thanks for taking out the healthy shit that we do for like our brain.
Like maybe it wasn't great for you before, but now it's like even worse.
Right.
In fact, now Lou would probably be keto anyway, because that's like the diet.
Oh yeah.
Is eating all the protein like crazy.
No. He'd be vegan. If he's spitting out steak, he's already halfway there. If he's not even chewing the steak, he'd probably be vegan.
He'd probably be vegan.
He'd probably be vegan, because that's like he can like at least tell himself that what he's eating doesn't have the same amount of calories, which it totally can.
That people have
very
joked
dense.
They're like, oh, I thought I'd go vegan to get healthier, and it turns out I just have eaten just as much crap as before. It's just not meat. You can be an unhealthy vegan.
It can be very dense. There's some of the foods and how they make it can be very dense, so be careful.
Anywho, do you do anything?
That's Miranda, sorry.
Do you do anything left over from like your home state? Because we're both not originally from Los Angeles. You're from Texas. I'm from Michigan.
Right.
Do you do like anything that is still not very LA that people would think is weird? I don't do it a lot, but I drink like regular milk, no questions asked. I was just thinking about it over Christmas because I had milk, not just with like cookies, but like other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fact that I'm just drinking cow's milk would like absolutely fucking blow people's mind.
You're drinking milk from a cow?
Yeah, they're like, why isn't it oats?
Nuts or
why isn't it oats or almond or soy?
Grain? Yeah.
And I was like, because I'm from like farmer stock, baby. I need this.
I mean, to be fair, we should be drinking cow's milk because that's made for breed 1,000-pound animals, not human beings. So like, that's why we're fucking stupid tall. But
yeah, how do you think I got this tall?
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's supposed to be. Yeah, that's not exactly. I think what I would do, I think what I still do, honestly, and not even trying to be funny, is like I'm still polite.
Yeah, I'm still like,
I'm still like, yes,
yeah,
excuse me, and like, excuse me, miss, excuse me, whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm like, you know, if I bump into somebody, I say, excuse me, and stuff like that. Like, I don't, you just assume that I'm supposed to be walking that way and they're in my way. Like, I'm even on the road too. Like, when somebody puts their indicator on, I don't try to speed past them.
Yeah,
I let them in. It's crazy.
I do the ope thing that they've called Midwestern people out for doing, where like if you bump into someone, you go, oh, like OPE. If you bump into me, I guaranteed I will do it. I didn't know it was like, until like it became something people pointed out on the internet. It is 100% something I just did without thinking about it. And I was like, oh, they didn't gotta call me out like that.
That's hilarious.
But I can't stop it, so
it is what it is.
If I'm like, or I'm driving or easing something in, I'll be like, oh, okay. Like, it's so weird.
That's fucking hilarious. That's so funny, dude.
So that's Miranda. So she's happy to go back to New York when all is said and done. So who should we chat about next? Maybe,
because I feel like we gotta leave Carrie for last. It's kind of the juiciest.
Yeah, and then all stories, we should say, converge. Well, except for Miranda's. Yeah. Everyone else's story kind of converges finally at the Playboy Mansion. Ooh la la.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess.
So let's do Miranda then.
We did Miranda.
Oh, not Miranda.
You want to do Samantha?
Samantha.
Yeah. Sorry. Because Samantha's
disrespecting my girl.
Kind of. Well, so they go to this movie premiere after party, and we'll get into how they got in there. But then Samantha meets Hugh Hefner, which has been like her dream since childhood, which is me like, what?
Yes.
I was gonna say it up front. I've never got like, I understand the Playboy Mansion thing. I get it. I've never found it appealing. Like,
me either.
And it was dead. This was when it was like at the peak for our age group and stuff like that. And that Girls Next Door show started at some not too long. It's a few years after.
Yeah, this was like right in this. Yeah, this was like right in that.
But this was definitely still at the like, oh, the Playboy Mansion's cool and fun. Everyone wants to go to the grotto, at which the grotto is it's just a little disease swamp back there. Gross. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But I just like, you get the Playboy Bunny stickers when I was like when I was like 13, 14 or whatever when this was on. Yeah. I've never thought Hugh Hefner was cool either. I really don't think he's cool now. Based on, stuff that came out. I also really hated that when he died a few years ago, he was buried next to Marilyn Monroe. She didn't ask for that. She didn't necessarily want him next to her in the grave, but he just decided he was going to do that, and he bought the plot, which, whatever, you can't stop someone from buying a plot, I guess, but I don't know. It just always rubbed me the wrong way. So that said, I've never been a big Playboy Mansion person. I do think the old school bunny costumes are kind of cute in their way.
Yeah.
I won't lie. Like, as like a cutesy, sexy tee-hee thing.
Sure.
But that's about it. I'm not that into it. But Samantha is.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I found that kind of weird that she would be like so into him like that. But I guess it's just like the status is what she.
It was totally a status thing. Yeah, like for the longest time. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, going to the Playboy Mansion is kind of like one of the coolest like Los Angeles things you can do, and that means you're in like an inner circle high level like thing. think my aunt got to go on like some kind of weird work connection. She like works in education. So like that's even wild that happened, but it was, it's like the ultimate like statusy thing. And then he's just been a pop culture fixture, with the little smoking jacket and always surrounded by the blondes and everything.
Yeah, like for long decades, man.
For forever. So
yeah. Dude,
and it turned out he's just a dirty old man.
Yeah, it's weird though, because like again, I feel what you're saying. Like I don't really see where women see him, but I also have read that he's like really clever and charming. Like he's really like he's got a mouthpiece.
I can see that. Yeah,
women down. But like, yeah, of course he does, dude. Look how old he was. You think he didn't take in some wisdom after all them years of dealing with? Like he probably knows, you know what I mean, a different language that no man can even speak. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know how that, but I don't know how good that language is to get them into bed. Listen, to each their own. You know what I'm saying? No kink shaming here, but
no kink shaming here, but
that's a hard sight to look at. You know, especially in the later years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe before not so bad when he was in the 40s and 50s, but
right. But at the
70 above.
Some of the things I've read that those like 3 girls next door, like, yikes.
Yeah.
It just sounds so unappealing for everybody except him. And that's the bummer to me. Like, you're not getting any, like, as the lady, you're not getting any real pleasure out of anything.
Now, but now that he's gone, I feel like, is he even though he's gone, is he still gonna be like the all-time bachelor?
I don't think so. I don't think that sort of reverence for him has held up even just and it's only been really like, I want to say 4 or 5 years since he's passed away.
Maybe less than that. I think it's less than that.
Maybe no, because I was still working at this one other job, so it's been a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I had to work on his like obit. I wrote respectfully, but I didn't care for him. I'm a professional. Yeah. I think I think with Me Too and sort of the reckoning of like how women have been treated in entertainment in particular, his whole sort of brand isn't holding up. And like I said, people didn't like that he did the Marilyn Monroe burial thing, chose to be buried next to her. Well, I'm in that camp. I didn't care for it. And now it's a mixed bag. So Holly Madison, who was one of the girls next door, she's come out and said a lot of like things about how it really wasn't that great. And it was, a lot of asked to do a lot of uncomfortable things or forced to do a lot of uncomfortable things. There's like a weird mixed bag though too, where there's like another camp that's saying like, no, we all agreed to doing what we did there, no big deal. So it's so it's just sort of crumbled, because I just think that's like that style of like harem, basically having a modern day harem is like not considered cool anymore.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Honestly, like I'm like you too. Like I never wanted to go to the Playboy Mansion. It just sounded gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just always sounded gross to me. So yeah. I'm glad I didn't get famous that it's enough to be invited.
Because well, this is with TMI, our sketch show. This was before you joined, when we were still way back at like Second City, RIP, the Los Angeles location. We had Ron Jeremy as a guest, because he was the same thing. It was like he's a porn star, but like he had a weird like cultural cachet that made him cool. I thought he was disgusting. I didn't ever like him. I never thought he was funny. I never thought it was funny that there was like a porn star that like him that was popular. Not that porn stars are bad, but just he was not one that I liked for any reason whatsoever. And he was like not that easy to work with. I actually like purposely didn't really write anything that week and just kind of stayed back from everything. Yeah. Because I just didn't want to be near him or involved with him to the best of my abilities. And he had like a drunk friend in the audience screaming at him like on stage, like, "Yeah, Ron," like the whole show. I think he took that friend to the bathroom at the like after party thing we did. And then guess what? Turns out he's a huge fucking creep. And I and I didn't make a fuss because I was like new and I didn't know like to take a principled stand to be like, we shouldn't hire him. And I didn't know if he had done anything. I didn't know he'd done anything like illegally creepy, I just thought he was a creep, So
just his vibe,
vibe. Right. Vibe check. Didn't pass the vibe check for me. So it's sort of the same thing. I think now we're embracing more empowered like female porn stars who are like leading the charge with sexuality and stuff like that versus this kind of older generation of guys who are just like laying a bunch of chicks,
Right.
And that's it. And then they're just like, it's just
right.
Whatever.
It's good. We're evolving as a male species. It's kind of great.
Yeah.
We're trying to slowly. It's slowly. Just I didn't say it's happening fast, but it's slowly getting there.
Yeah. So long story short, it's a no from me, dog. But they go. Samantha gets an invite to the Playboy Mansion for them, which is her, like pretty much her ultimate dream. Oh yeah.
We got a big moment when they were at brunch. She pulls up a Fenty bag, and
I was gonna get to that.
They think that's okay. Go ahead.
Before we get there, she's out shopping, and a guy with a trunk full of fake purses sells her this very authentic looking Fendi bag, and she even takes Carrie to go buy them. That's kind of more part of Carrie's story, that little gag where they go to the valley.
Yes. Oh my God! By the way, what they did with the valley with the dogs barking, 100% still 100%. True. I live in the valley.
Still
fucking true. Dogs everywhere in backyards. Everywhere.
I moved to a full disclosure, bougie ass, gentrified as fuck building, right? It's like brand new 2-year-old construction. Fucking people here got the fucking barking hellhounds all the time. And I'm like, shut your fucking dog up.
Everybody, dude, North Hollywood is full of dogs and they all bark all the time.
Goddamn time.
I love LA. It was funny too how Carrie kept screaming every time she walked by the game.
She always does that shriek thing when that's her like signature, like I'm like, scared.
Right.
It's so stupid.
It's hilarious.
Sometimes it's funny, but
though. It was funny in this moment.
It's such a weird distinctive scream she has that it's funny. So Carrie turns down the fake Fendi, but so they all get to the Playboy Mansion, and while everybody's off doing their own story explorations, which we'll get to in a minute, Samantha loses her purse and thinks one of the bunnies stole her Fendi. And is upset that the bunny has her fake Fendi, and then the bunny opens the Fendi to reveal it is a real Fendi. And they get kicked out by Hef because Hef shows up. He's like, "Is that a problem, bunnies?" Right. And then Samantha's like, "I think it's the bunny has my bag," and she doesn't. And so Samantha loses like all her money and cards and like driver's license and shit. Like,
and whoever stole it fucking ran up all her credit cards. And she was like, all these fraudulent charges and shit like that too. So not only did they get kicked out of the mansion, she also lost money. Well, in theory, of course you get it back because your shit was stolen, but it's still like it's a few days of you being pissed off looking at your account, seeing them.
But then the whole hassle, you gotta get the new license, you gotta get the new cards, and back then it wasn't nearly as instantaneous. It all took a while to do. So what a pain in the butt that all is.
So I'm saying a few days. So back then it was probably like a week,
couple weeks,
sometimes. Oh man. Fuck that, dude.
No, thank you. That's legit. Although this is my ridiculous like anti-mugging strategy, but I think it's somewhat solid. So if I'm in like going to my car and like maybe not the greatest area, I keep my phone and I have a purse with me. I keep my phone in my pocket and keys in my hand. And that way, if they're like, "Give me your purse," I'm like, fucking enjoy it. So the only thing I'm losing is the wallet, which it does suck to get your license replaced and cards and stuff. But the phone, you can just do everything and fix it right then and there once you escape to safety. They take your phone, you're fucked. That's way harder to deal with. Absolutely. But they don't want phones so much anymore, is my understanding, because everything gets locked, or you can lock it right away when you like.
So you have that Find My Phone app where as soon as you get stolen, you just wipe the entire thing up online. So like
when you get home, you just go boop, 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 and they're like, nuts. So that's my little like probably not rock solid tip for safety, but I also just feel like as long as I have my phone and my keys, I can like dash out of any bad situation, which is not untrue.
I mean, honestly, if you're still mugging, bro, step your criminal game up.
They are still mugging people, though. That was happening all before Christmas and shit out here.
I know, that's true.
They were saying like, don't wear flashy jewelry or your flashy watch if you're in like Melrose, I guess it was. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Melrose got a little bit.
Melrose got a little rough.
yeah. Melrose ain't Melrose no more. It's true. It's not. I was walking down last night and I was just like, I'm uncomfortable.
You're like,
I used to be uncomfortable for different reasons, and like now, that's for now. Like what it is. Like I'm a little I don't like this.
I'm scared for different reasons today.
Like now when people are walking a little too close behind me, I feel a little like my shoulders get a little higher, you know what I'm saying? Like what you trying to do, bro?
So the fake Fendi becomes a big metaphor for Carrie and for Charlotte. And speaking of Charlotte, shall we get into her situation?
Yes. So poor Charlotte still has not gotten it on with her husband yet.
Bless. So sad.
But to be fair, I thought it was a lot more time in between. They've only been married for a month.
And they got together so fast, which they kind of gloss over.
Yeah, they've only been together like 6 months at best at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a very long time. To be fair, that's a very long time in a relationship to not have sex. But like the whole waiting till marriage thing, if she wanted to do that,
which she wanted to do,
right. So that kind of took up some time, and then them actually getting married. So technically, they've only really been like not sexually active for like 2 months, if you really count anything. Yeah.
So but she's still super frustrated by it. So
yes,
they get back home. At first they get back from their first black tie doctor's benefit because she is Mrs. Dr. McDougal. That's really funny to say out loud, Mrs. Dr. McDougal. But it's true, it's what she is. And so she's trying to get him to bang her, and he just walks away, and she's like, well, what about Viagra or something? And he's like, absolutely not. I'm a doctor that causes heart problems. You know, I have heart problems in the family. I'm going to go for a run. So he goes out and does the sexually frustrated run. I love how much sexual frustration he clearly is having, but then he goes and just does like physical activity, which is on brand though, because last season Charlotte said when Carrie was doing therapy, Charlotte's like, we didn't go to therapy, we just played tennis or whatever, and that's how we got our so everyone in Charlotte's family is super fit but deeply repressed.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but I mean honestly, working out like when you are it's somewhat helpful when if you're like really like upset about something, or if you're really sexually motivated, like good work. Like you can run for days when you're like have those two motivations. But it's just like weird that like I couldn't figure it out. Like I'm still like in the mystery of like what it is that's got him, because was she even suggested by, or he was like disgusted with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, you ain't get like, she doesn't know what's going on. Like you're not doing your thing and shit. So
it's there's no like, it's almost like he doesn't like her.
I'm feeling that, like,
which is
like
so
low-key,
sad.
he's like I feel like he doesn't want to be with her. That's what I'm feeling right now. It's like either he's asexual or he just it just truly doesn't want to be with her, because we find out in the next episode that he's definitely not gay.
Yeah. There's that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Hold your thoughts there. So I do feel for Charlotte, because he clearly liked her in the beginning, and he
Yeah,
loved
he
her,
seemed turned
and
on by her too, like
yeah,
physically,
because she was pumping the brakes on the sex the whole time,
right?
but apparently she didn't maybe really need to, because he was never maybe gonna follow
Never
through.
even trying. Yeah, maybe never even truly trying.
Because I don't, if they made it seem like when they were first getting together that he wanted to like hook up,
Right.
but if he didn't, like what would have turned him off then versus like what's turning him off now to like not want to have any
that's what is turning him off now. Maybe he was trying to get in the pants, and then like she didn't let him because he maybe didn't really want to like pursue a relationship, and then now he's like somehow he's like repressed his mind, and like now he's like can't get a boner because he like doesn't even want to be with her anymore.
Yeah, because he's like, we rushed in because they really
he's like, I was just trying to smash and now I'm married. Like, what the fuck happened?
And I don't hate her as a person, but like I don't like her either.
I don't love her.
I don't love her. Yeah, that's sad. Don't do that.
I hope that's not the case.
Take everything for a test drive.
I hope that's not the case. Anywho, but so she decides she's had enough because he doesn't want to even try and talk about it. She goes to LA.
Yep.
With the girls to try to relive a little bit of her single life.
Yeah, get her little groove back.
Basically. Like, to kind of get a groove back. Yeah, exactly.
So like she's enjoying the view at the pool of all the tanning guys. And then she does confess to the girls about like she's lying about how happy she is at first. She's like, I don't even have to use condoms because I'm married. And then at one point, I have the note that at some point Charlotte says like her marriage is like the fake Fendi, where it seems all nice on the outside, but it's empty and fake on the inside, and that's what her marriage feels like. Maybe she only says that to Carrie, I think.
No, she says it.
She says it to everybody,
all
right?
the girls. Yes, because it was
the
previous lunch. She showed the fake bag, and she had it open, and all the condoms fell out. That's what she was like. We have all the sex, but no, we don't have to use condoms. Like, you know. That question, I do have to ask you about that. If you were married to Trey, and not these girls were your friends, but if you were talking to, if you were at, would you be embarrassed by the situation at home? Would you be ashamed to talk about it?
I don't know. Because I've definitely talked about stuff with girlfriends.
Right.
I don't know if I'd be embarrassed exactly, but I also have to bear in mind that like I'm not that super sexual of a person necessarily. So I'm like, it almost would be a non-issue for me at a certain point, which is kind of weird. But I think if he was that kind of turning away from me and like not wanting to be even remotely intimate, which
like low-key repulsed,
then I wouldn't necessarily say embarrassed, but I would just be bummed, like. Maybe if I had rushed into a marriage,
right?
And I had like hyped up as the be all end all,
right? Yeah.
Then I'd be a little like, no, things are great. We have sex all the time.
Nah. But here's the thing too, is like the thing about it is like I don't know if they did this on purpose, but like she doesn't even look like she's sexually satisfied. You know what I mean? Like you almost kind of see all the way through her. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're having like these wild nights of great sex with your husband, why would you just need a vacation?
Right. Like, why would you just get back?
There's no way you missed us that bad. Yeah.
Where you should have been blinking your brains out, right? On the honeymoon. Right. And instead you're like, I need to go see my friends in Los Angeles in the last minute. Yeah. The ticket must have cost. My God.
Oh my Jesus. And well, I mean, Trey's got it. So
Trey's got it.
Trey's got it. So it ain't even no issue. But I would say, because it seemed like she basically left like that morning.
Yeah.
After that, like basically after that, the black tie dinner, she like got on the flight that morning. So
it was like,
I'm saying 3
later. Yeah. See y'all later.
She first flew sky, so I'm saying at least like 35. I'm saying 3,500 for that ticket for sure. For sure. Because a last minute ticket like that, just in like Coach, is fucking at least like 15. So
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like it's got to be at least double or triple that in fucking first class, because Charlotte ain't gonna be on 6 hours on a flight in business class or fucking coach.
I sprang for the business upgrade on Southwest because I had a voucher from when my mom insisted on buying me a ticket for Christmas 2020 when we were all like, I don't know, things seem really bad with the whole, like, it's really surging. We probably shouldn't fly anywhere. And she's like, no, it'll be fine. And then of course it was like, I shouldn't go. So we got the voucher, but now I'm using it to go to, ironically enough, New York in a couple weeks. So
hilarious. That's awesome.
I can't wait. So Charlotte joins them at the Playboy Mansion, and she is talking to a guy, and he's like, it's nice to talk to someone like smart and funny and da 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 da, and she's like so excited. Then he's like, let me see your boobs.
No, he didn't say let me see him. He said, he's like, let me buy you some boobs.
Let me buy you boobs.
Let me buy you some boobs. He's just like, they're sitting here talking about art and like their favorite artists and all this other stuff and like what they love about his art and shit like that. And then he just goes, let me buy you some boobs.
Yeah. And she's
like, where did that come from?
He's just gonna make her his little trophy wife case. I don't know.
That's probably what he was thinking in his mind is like, she's like not big enough yet,
so she runs away and realizes like, well, even as flawed as her marriage is, it beats being single.
I mean, that's the kind of conversations you're having, but like I feel like that, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe because like I'm not deep in Hollywood and in like those parties, especially around that time, but I feel like that comment he said to her sounds like something you would hear on like the dating apps now, not back then. You know what I mean? Like doesn't sound like something somebody would say to you in your face back then.
Maybe.
I mean, it probably, as I say again, I mean, I didn't, Hollywood parties and Hollywood speak is different. The deeper you get it connected, and get into that shit. So like, maybe you would say something like that, and maybe somebody who's like in that life would be like, impressed by that or grateful for that or whatever, but
some women would have been like, oh my god, thank you,
oh my god, me breasts, oh my god, me breasts,
like, I have wanted to go up a size.
That's wild, man. I mean, and here's the thing too, and here's what I know about men being a man, that line has worked, because there's no way he would repeat it again if it didn't work. Like if it got him kicked in the nuts or slapped, that line's done. That's definitely gotten him some ass before. And he probably didn't even get the poor girl the implants that he promised them.
Yeah.
Because as we know, Hollywood is very fake because of it was proven to us in this episode.
In this very episode.
Yes, it was.
So yes, Charlotte runs away, and then that's kind of the end of her until they all leave. At the end.
They didn't leave. Don't be PC with it. Don't be so LA about it. They didn't leave. Okay, they were kicked out
because Samantha got them kicked out.
Very true. Also, very petty reason to kick somebody out of a party. Like,
well, you don't insult Hef's bunnies. Let me tell you.
Okay, I get. Okay, maybe I see.
You don't cause a scene and insult the bunnies.
Right, I get it. You're right. Fair enough. On to Carrie.
So this episode opens with Carrie getting a mega bikini wax. Not even a bikini, a full-on Brazilian.
Yes.
So feels like she's walking sex because she's so hairless down there. So stupid. I hate this little bit.
I love it because of how corny it is, but it doesn't make sense for these New York free-spirited women to be so like conservative when they get to LA. Like, what happened? Did they like hit a wormhole when they were flying into? Did they go back to like the 50s while they were flying?
Exactly.
Like, why are they so like, oh my stars, no hair down there?
That's
you scoundrel.
What we said last episode is like they're so pearl clutchy for like like for being like New Yorkers are on the cutting edge, and they're the leaders of culture and society and whatnot. And here they're like, a Brazilian wax, my heavens,
my stars. I know. And Carrie's a fucking sex and romance columnist. Like, what? Why?
As everyone has pointed out, she is the most like uptight sex columnist that's ever existed. Like, she's
100%.
poo-pooed bisexuality, other experimentation, and just, kink and everything. She's like, no, it's all gross and weird. I just want to find a man.
It's so weird too, because like it's for her to be that personality, she's highly successful in her column. But I'm like, how are her articles that interesting if this is the kind of like, hoity-toityness that she has when it comes to a Brazilian wax?
Like, but this episode took her down some pegs on her like I'm hot shit thing, and I was fucking excited. Let's dive into how and why that happens, because boy howdy was I fucking pumped.
Get in.
Ooh, I was so happy.
You know what? You started off. You kick it off. We are right here, baby. Let's go.
Okay, so I'll kick it off with the biggest sticking point for me probably in the whole episode. So Carrie's like, me and Samantha are going to a premiere tonight, but we're going to skip the movie and just use my press pass to go to the after party. You can't do that. And then,
I was gonna ask if that was like really
maybe if you were like someone way high up the list,
right, okay,
you probably could,
okay,
but you a press pass person, get your ass to the press line, get your credentials and shit, and then get your ass to your sequestered seat in the theater. First of all, everybody does want to see the movie in LA.
Right.
Premieres.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She's even like, yes, we do.
Even movies I have hated, or my friend that I often brings me along with her.
Yeah.
We have sat through movies we did not care for and still gotten to like, after party things and stuff like that. It's you go to the movie. Yes, going to the movie is part of the thing.
Yes, it's the entire. It's like when people go to the movies and they're like, "Oh, it's just the previews." Like, no, it's the whole experience.
Because then she does go to the party and is like, "Oh," and goes to the check-in and is like, "Oh, I have a press pass," and they're like, "Good, press room's over there," because they're still doing interviews and in theory and stuff. So they just think she's working. They don't think she's just there to party, and they block her from going in because you need. The other key thing that they bring up in the episode is generally to go to the after party, you need something from the movie line that showed you were had like done the carpet or were invited, and that usually entails having seen the movie. You need like I have dozens of like ticket stubs basically of like little passes I have that like you get your ticket with your seat number and then your ticket for the after party, and you got to have the little ticket that comes in the envelope for the after party. So you can't just roll up the way she thought she could.
That's very interesting. It's good that they kept that actually accurate.
Yeah, so I was pumped because I was like, she just clearly assumed because she's moderately famous in New York,
right?
That she could waltz in, and I was like, but there's a big difference between kind of local New York celebrity and like being cool in New York culture and like being a celebrity going to this kind of event. It's just not the same.
No, and it's kind of great too, because it's just like I love that these two episodes, it's a little bit meta because it was like but also it was great because the city was like fighting back against them, like they came in with all their New York, we're better than you, and it's like, nope, you can't smoke here, you can't come to this party, like, oh, also you can't write this movie, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like all kinds of things that was just like, nah, you hate on us, we got you right back,
Yeah, because like I know don't get me wrong, New York's great city, greatest city on earth. Even.
It is. I get why people want to live there.
I get it, but I also I think I've said it before with something else at the show. I think that like genuinely like cool New York people don't bother getting hung up on the like New York's better than LA.
Right.
Like it's, you just got to accept they're two different cities that have their pros and cons. And New York does just as much like highfalutin bougie bullshit as Los Angeles. It just gets more of a pass for it.
Yeah, because it's New York. Because it has boroughs and where like,
but it's just you just gotta accept they're different cities with different, vibes. And it's stupid. I to get hung up on like, oh, it's New York is better or LA is better. Just live in the city you feel like living in.
Either one, I think I get why people want to live in New York. I couldn't live there.
Yeah.
But also I could get why nobody, like somebody from New York wouldn't want to live here. I get it. I totally get it.
So I just and then they tell her, I laughed really hard when they told her to go to the press room. I was like, she couldn't hack in a fucking press room to save her fucking life.
No way, dude. Carrie would get fucking mauled in a press room. She wouldn't be able to get a quote from anyone. What are you talking about?
No, would have been just too much, too funny. So she's off to the side having a cigarette while Samantha tries to get the car from valet. And who should she bump into but a man named Keith, played by Vince Vaughn.
Vince motherfucking Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn at his peak, although he was great in Freaky, which came out.
Yes, I watched that.
It's awesome. A good movie. He's awesome. Really funny.
It's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun.
I love him.
He, him and Jack Black, like they had to play like teenage girls, killed it.
And they did such a respectful job because it would have been so easy for either of them to tip it into total caricature and mock and punch down basically on being a teenage girl, but they really played it like a genuine way and made it work. That I thought was nice to it was nicer to teenage girls than often frankly a lot of those kind of movies are, because teenage girls are all our interests are are looked down on, like things that people like. If a teenage girl likes it, it's frivolous and bad and stupid. Like pop music or boy bands or all those things, they're mega popular. And everybody likes them. But because teenage girls get the most excited, it's like, oh, well, that must be a pointless, frivolous thing if a teenage girl likes it, because they can't possibly be serious.
Yeah, there's no way they know enough about life to
know what good music
is.
No, I just want to have fun. I'm fucking 15.
No, but he definitely killed it in that movie. Yeah, he was great in Freaky, man. It was I enjoyed it very much.
And I love Catherine Newton, I think, is the girl who he swaps bodies with. I think that's the actress's name. Yeah, she was great as him.
Yeah, absolutely.
In reverse. So it was such a fun little movie.
Yeah, so anyway. Vince Vaughn comes out and he introduces himself as Keith, and he says that he represents Matt Damon.
And we're laughing because it comes to a head later. We'll get there.
And he's so confident too. He's like, "Yeah, I represent Matt Damon." He's like telling her all these stories about crazy things that have happened with other clients that he's had and things like that. But here's the thing too.
He gets them into the party, by the way. So and that's how they meet Hef and everything.
Yeah, that's how they meet Hef and whatnot. And so it does kind of work out a lot in his favor. He's able to do all these things, get in the party and stuff like that. And so, they exchange information and he gets her number and they decide they want to have a date. Mm-hmm. And on their date, he decides to take Carrie to a house that he wants to buy. It's just checking out. Yeah, he's interested in. He just wants to see it. Yeah. And it turns out to be a $3.4 million house.
Something like that, yeah.
Which I call, okay, let me tell you something. I don't even think that house was that cheap. Even in 2001 that we're in right now?
I think we're still in 2000.
2000, okay.
I'll double check.
Either way, 2000, 2001, there's no way that house they saw was $3 million. I call bullshit. That was at least 10. Mm-hmm. Did you see how big that motherfucker was?
We're still in the year 2000, by the way.
There's no way. That was probably 10, and it's probably like 30 or fucking 25 now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that house still exists, there's no way that house was 3.4 or something million. I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's why I hate the movies sometimes or TV shows, because they embellish. Like, it's just like the Friends apartment. These three women can afford this, basically a house on the fourth floor. Get the fuck
It was rent controlled by her aunt, and she's been illegally subletting it. That was the loophole plot-wise they came up with.
Fuck out of here. Well, what about Family Matters? One cop and fucking, what was his wife?
Chicago?
Yes, a Chicago cop and a fucking, not even, what do you call it? A paralegal can afford that big ass house and all them kids in Chicago.
You could back in the day, though.
No way. No way.
The Burbs?
That many kids? They had like 5 kids, bro. And Steve
One of them disappeared.
And Steve Urkel wrecking their shit they would have been home in the first episode.
One of those kids just won the ether and never came back. That's how they could afford the house. Didn't one of the little sisters just go upstairs and never come back?
Yeah, Julie.
Yeah.
She
Bye,
just
Julie.
disappeared after
we gotta throw you in the void because the mortgage went up. So bye.
I mean, yes, if you think about it, Steve Urkel did come in season 1. He was wrecking their shit. So I mean, they had to sacrifice something. They couldn't kill Steve.
Can't kill Urkel.
Like, so. God, that's fucked up. Oh, that's too real. That's so real. It sounds like a documentary. That sounds like the true story of Family Matters.
Yeah. So as they like, she has the date, and then Carrie's pondering if she's starting to like Los Angeles, and New Yorkers are trained to hate LA because intellect is ignored in LA, and it's all in favor of who you date and what you look like. And yet they're all enjoying their time there, which, like, yeah, that's a knock against Los Angeles. There's a lot of superficiality.
Absolutely.
But, there's just as much sort of bogus society stuff in New York. It's just a different, like, structure, basically,
Before we dive further, I want to just make a comment, because after he shows her the house, she says that, well, that's one thing that LA men, or no, Samantha says that's one, with their brunch. She said, that's one thing that LA men have over New York men is real estate.
Oh yeah.
I have to ask, does that make men sexier if they own real estate?
Yes, because it does show a certain amount of financial stability, but it would also be a bummer to me to join, like, if I moved in with someone who owned a house and it wasn't on, like, the deed or anything like that.
Right.
Because then I'm just pumping money into a house that I don't own,
Right. Yeah.
So you'd have to work that out ahead of time.
Gotcha.
Or move in, like, a whole new house together that you buy together.
I mean, that's probably what everybody's doing, like, modern day. But we're talking 2000, right? Every girl was like, "Oh, he has a house."
Oh yeah, that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you're literally you're still paying rent to somebody. It's just somebody you're banging.
Yeah.
But you can also just be banging your landlord too. It doesn't really matter.
That's true. I mean, I'm sure there's some people right now. Listen, I ain't mad at you. Get that rent paid, baby.
Yeah. So she's like wondering, she's like, if weather travels west to east, does that mean LA is going to influence New York more?
Never.
Probably not. But they, again, like I said, they're still the same. There are, like, crunchy moms out here doing all sorts of, like, specific types of play and parenting and this and that. And they do that shit in New York too. I don't know. Like, it's the artifice of, like, different things and different societal things is present in both cities. Yeah. It's just, I think, like I said, New York gets more of a pass because I think it's just a more established city. It's obviously got a much longer history. Yeah. And it is this true, the center of the world in many, many cases. Yeah. I mean, LA is a young upstart by comparison. Yes. And absolutely. But I always point out, they're like, "Oh, LA food trends are so dumb." I'm like, you guys had people waiting in lines for a fucking Corona in New York, so don't talk to me about, also, like, too, New York, y'all shit. Not low. Williamsburg loves avocado. Y'all just got avocado. We've been on avocado. Stop trying to bag our shit, okay? Avocado been in shit for a long time. Y'all can't charge $12 for toast like God. We can, okay? Actually, $14.50 in some places, okay? Y'all better put that shit down to $5 and be New York. Stop trying to copy our shit with $14 avocado toast. Fuck out of here, bro. That's our thing. That's our shit, bro. That's our expensive brunch. Brunch supposed to be $5 in New York. Yeah. And then also the whole journey to get the other fake bag from the guy in the valley. Carrie's like, "I want to wait for the real thing. The bag is a metaphor for relationships." Whatever. Stupid. Yeah. Now we get to my other favorite part of the episode that I love. So she and Keith are at his house and hooking up in the hot tub. And it's going great. And then the morning after, they're cozying up in bed when who should walk in? Carrie motherfucking Fisher, the queen. Yes. Greatest Princess fucking Leia, but also a fantastic fucking writer in her own right. Yes. That she never got half as much credit for it as she deserved. Absolutely. And she did tons of script doctoring. I don't even know all the scripts she worked on that she punched up. So many though. It's ridiculous. Brilliant, funny woman. Gone too soon. It was a huge bummer. Yes. So sad. I love her. But then she walks in and she says, I told you no prostitutes while you're house sitting.
Yes, because we come to find out Keith does not represent Matt Damon. No, he's not even an agent. No, he's
like an assistant,
a personal assistant to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. And I think Penny Marshall, they say, and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, like he's like a dog walker for these people.
Basically, yeah.
He's not even like assistant level, really.
He's like truly a personal assistant. They probably put the personal to make him feel a little, but he probably just like a glorified dog walker.
Yeah, because like personal assistants at like for those high level people, that is like a real
job. You like live with them, you stay with them 100%. Like your phone's on 24/7.
Yeah, you're always taking care of shit. He had time to like fucking lie about going to look at a house.
Right.
Maybe he was asked to go look at the house, kind of a thing. You know, like I don't have time to go look at it. Can you go look at it? But still, Carrie Fisher fires him on the spot.
Of course.
And Carrie clarifies, she's like, oh, I'm not a prostitute, but I'm a big fan of your writing. And she's like, I'm a writer too in New York, you know, you're Carrie, I'm Carrie. And I just love Carrie Fisher's delivery of, I have a child. I can't do this.
She's like, can you just get out of my house?
Could you just fucking leave?
Yeah, can you not be a naked woman in my house with my children here, please? Could you just get out? Thanks.
Yeah, and
yes, maybe in a different life we could have been friends, but this is how we met.
Not now, not in this moment.
Keep it moving.
And Carrie, show Carrie skedaddles out of there. And I just wrote down like, man, that 1 ounce of like New York local celebrity just went right to her fucking head. I was like, you're in Los Angeles and no one cares about New York that way in LA. Like the disdain goes both ways, I think sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah, because like there's people, I mean, unless you're in a big like Marvel movie or something like that, and then you can be famous, you'll probably be famous in New York as well as LA. But like if you're just on a sitcom in LA, you could not be like, nobody could give a fuck who you are in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because most, I mean, if they don't watch the show, like they don't fuck with you, like at all. You know?
Yeah,
like,
they don't give a shit. And but it's the same here. Like,
if you ain't doing numbers in the East Coast, don't even try to come over there, you know, flexing your shit.
Yeah. And like it's you know, there's like, I obviously have read about, you know, there's a lot of like old school New York celebrities who are just sort of like almost sort of famous for being famous in different ways, or like maybe they do some cultural thing like art or write or whatever, but that just wouldn't translate out here. And no one, you know, and you could argue, oh, Los Angeles is dumber for not being impressed by it, but whatever, you're just not into it. It's you know, I like our weird local celebrities like Angeline in the Valley, who drives around in a pink car with her big fake boobs and her big fake hair. And she used to have billboards all the time. Love her.
I honestly, I don't even think that like being in New York kind of makes you a star. Like LA kind of makes you a star, and then you can like after you like make it in LA, then you can kind of go back to New York and do some things. But you know what I mean? Like I mean, like maybe unless you're talking like Broadway stars, that's a different thing. But you know. Those
like
guys really
entertainment,
like
but
those are few and far between. I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda is like an anomaly in that, like he transcended just like Broadway, and like now he's like a famous dude that people know. You know what I mean?
Well, when I like am thinking of like New York cultural celebrities, I'm thinking of like is it Fran Lebowitz, I think, who was like a culture writer in New York in like 60s and 70s. Like Martin Scorsese loves her. Did a whole documentary about her and everything like that. But like, and people I know love to watch the documentary, but I also just like, I don't know, I didn't really watch it because I didn't know really who she was, and it just doesn't have any cultural impact on me. Not saying that's a good or bad thing, it just doesn't, I don't know. But I just was delighted. I just love this Carrie Fisher cameo so much.
Yeah, it was like perfect. Yeah, she was like perfect in it, and yeah, her face is her facial expression. Yeah, Carrie was trying to be friends with her. She just like no, bye. Thank you. No thanks.
So
also, like, you just fucked my assistant. I could like they could be like, even if they hadn't been caught, like she just found that out, just knowing that, like, nah, I can't be friends with you. Sorry.
Yeah. So they what do you call it? they get to the Playboy Mansion, and Carrie and Miranda are wandering around. Miranda's full on back to her cranky self. Yes. And they both, I will say, Carrie and Miranda both lament the lack of the little satin outfits with the bunny ears.
They're great. Yeah.
That's, again, I think of how I like to think of the Playboy Mansion when I do think of it, or just the Playboy clubs, I guess.
Yeah.
But then I love it. They get to the grotto, and there's, topless women swimming around, and Miranda goes, tit soup, which just made me laugh. And then Carrie's like, it's time to go home.
Why has she been so funny the last 3 episodes? Real talk. Miranda's been killing it, right?
This is the Miranda people like. This is the one people are into.
Yeah.
Not with her with fucking Steve. I can't do her and Steve.
Yeah, for sure.
Care.
For sure.
I don't care what happened in the revival, people. Just saying.
Yeah. Like, go fuck yourself, revival.
I didn't like him from the goddamn start. Anyway, and right as Carrie says it's time to go home, that's when they all get escorted out of the party anyway. So
yes,
they all leave, and I do love Carrie lights up a cigarette in the lobby one last time, and someone's like, you can't smoke in here. She goes, we're going, relax.
For real though, like, yeah. I mean, was she violating a little bit by smoking in the lobby?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy if I had been a patron there.
Yeah, yes, but she's clearly walking out the door.
She's clearly leaving.
Yeah, but you know what though? Also too, like, I understand too, as well as being the guy that said something to her, because as an employee, you kind of have to say something, because one, if your boss is there and you don't say nothing, you can get in trouble. Also, if a customer complains and says, "Oh, and this guy didn't even say anything," now you're fucked. You're
in trouble. Yeah, and it's all Carrie's fault because she thinks she's hot shit.
Yes,
she ain't.
Yes. So I see all the angles. I get it.
Yeah. So they get home, and she's inside, and she lights up another cigarette, and she realizes she's starting to feel like herself again.
Right.
And her bush will grow back from the Brazilian wax. That was literally part of the line.
Also too, that was also kind of her reasoning of why she slept with this guy. It was like, my Brazilian made me do it, made me kiss him in this room. Like, no, you were
he's Vince Vaughn at his peak. He's very cute and he's very tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm banging Vince Vaughn works or not. Hopefully I had one before.
He was putting that LA magic on you. He was showing you a nice big house. He got you into the
and he did the thing that people always say in LA where you got to bluff, fake it till you make it, bluff, and he was doing a great job of it because he's very like, oh, I don't know if I'll take this house, and like, come into the party with me in the after party and
Oh, dude, listen, I'm not even like, when I found out that he was insistent, I wasn't even mad at it, because I was like, I've definitely bluffed my way into some britches. Like, I definitely had friends come and visit me where I made it seem like, oh, I was really doing LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. It's funny. My friend visited, and I was like, do you want to go like this kind of cool place? And she's like, no, not really. I was like, all right, cool. I don't really want to either. Because I wasn't like, oh, I gotta impress her. Yeah. Sometimes I worry I tell too many stories about like meeting people, but I'm like, it's technically what I do for work. I'm talking about work, I promise. I'm not trying to like name drop or whatever. Yeah. I just also like insider info trivia, so I like to like look at the screen and point out and be like, that person was cool and that person sucked. Yeah. That's just my nerdy, like, oh, I heard they're cool. Like, or like, did you know this or that? She hadn't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Ooh. And she knows like a ton of stuff too. She's like, up on the pop culture totally as well. It's part of why we're friends. But I was like, don't like ramble off trivia the whole movie. She hasn't seen it. Like, fucking keep it to yourself. Right. And wait till see if she like asks anything or or needs a point of clarification or whatever. But I like just couldn't help it. I was like, did you know the character Timothy Olyphant is playing is a real guy who did, in fact, he has a show like the one they're filming, but he ended up losing his leg and arm in a motorcycle accident years later. True story. Couldn't help. I was like, I don't know why that was the one I had to drop on her, but I did.
Listen, I'm not mad at that, because here's the thing. I went to film school. Mm-hmm. And so when you go to film school and you live in Hollywood, that like becomes literally your language. Your whole, spitting off random trivia when you see little historical landmarks and shit like that in Hollywood. It just and not just Hollywood, like in LA, period. Like you like, oh, so and so shot this here. Oh, this was shot here. Oh, did you know they use this? Like, it's
because I always ask people, I'm like, is there anywhere you want to go that was in a movie? Because we can go to it, which is cool to me, like really fucking cool. Like I get a kick out of it. And actually my mom and brother were when they were first watching Cobra Kai, and they actually filmed it in the Valley before they moved to Georgia for filming. Just FYI, that's true.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's why you don't see too many. That's why everything's looking real generic in the Valley at a certain point. It
really is now. Because I'm on season 4, and I'm like, that don't look like the Valley.
But the first season, my mom and brother were in. We watched the whole thing, but they were into it because they're like, this is where like you kind of live, like nearby, like we, you know. And then I lost it in the season 4. There was a line where they're like, meet me at Magnolia and Lancashire, and I was like, that's like 500 feet from me. Fantastic. Not to dox myself. Don't come find me. But I was like, oh, cool. They're going to show the intersection. They got some generic B-roll, and then they show this building, this like abandoned building. I was like,
that is nowhere
a lot.
There. Nothing like that is near that intersection.
I was like, there's no abandoned dojo at Magnolia and Lancashire. Hollywood is so fucking fake.
I know, man. I know. And it was like, it was proven in this episode with how Vince Vaughn was faking it to make it, baby.
Yeah. Vegas, baby, Vegas.
I'm not mad at him though. Like I said, I've definitely made myself feel a lot. You know, I big up myself a few times when friends have come to visit, just to like, you know, not cry inside after they leave. You know, like
it's a don't hate the player, hate the game situation for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, in a way, you know, she kind of brought it on herself. Like if she'd asked the right questions, she would have found some things out. But she just assumed that she was hot shit. She's like, oh yeah, this well off to do guy definitely wants to take me out because I'm motherfucking Carrie Bradshaw and I got a goddamn column in New York.
I write a column in like a 4th run newspaper that no one reads. Yay!
Also, Matthew McConaughey kind of wanted to write a movie based on one of my articles. Whoa.
But they never did.
And they never did. But like also
Although how many like, oh, they wanted to look at my thing or it got optioned and then it died on the vine. I mean, that happens
hundreds
too.
I mean, here's the thing too, like in half of them are bullshit, but most of them are probably true.
Yeah.
So many things get like optioned and people get paid for things and then the idea just gets lost. And you're like, oh, I sold that for rent money and now I'm broke. Okay, cool. Anyway, tell the people where
living the dream in Hollywood. Woo! You can find me being a total nerd on Twitter, Instagram, and the occasional TikTok at Elizabeth Movies. Chris, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on all those platforms at Mack Diddy Combs, MackDiddyCombs.
You can find the show. If you go to Instagram and go to at Show Me What Podcast, that'll take you to all the portals of the internet. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're doing really well on YouTube, so thank you for checking out the videos. You guys, seriously. Very fun.
Thank you for like continuing to watch, even though we had been on hiatus for a while, because like we were going for a while, and I appreciate you guys like not giving up on us and actually increasing the views. Yeah, so appreciate that big time.
It's appreciated that we could take the break and still have people who are into it, because you know the grind never stops, except it does, because sometimes you get really tired of grinding.
But I tell you what, if you really want to show your appreciation, you better start liking the goddamn video and subscribing to our page. All right, you guys are watching, but you're not liking. I know it's easy to do that because I fall into rabbit holes and don't like, but you gotta like. All right, you gotta show support because it helps with the algorithm. Okay,
smash the subscribe buttons and the like buttons. Leave some comments, nice ones.
Yes. If you want to, you don't.
If you want to, negative. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't leave a comment.
Oh, fuck it. We're not here to cancel free speech. Just say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. But just know, if it hurts our feelings, we got shooters, bro. We got fucking shooters. We'll send them to your house, bro. We know how to get IP addresses, bro. Don't fuck with us, bro.
I don't know how to do any of that. That's not gonna happen.
I don't either, but I know some people that do. So don't fuck with us, bro.
That's right. You actually might.
Yeah. I know some people that hackety hack. You know what I'm saying? Don't fuck with us, bro. Ex-Marine, bro. Ex-Marine, bro. Remember that shit. It ain't all happy.
most threatening goodbye we've ever done on the show.
Also, make sure you go to Arlo Australia on Instagram, ARLO Australia. Get yourself some candles. You know what I'm saying? Ethically sourced from Australia. It smells good. Lead-free wax, soy wax. You know what I'm saying? Lead-free wicks is what I'm talking about.
Shit.
Good shit. Burns forever, and it smells fucking good as hell.
Does smell good.
And she also doing some bath bombs, and she got reed diffusers. Fuck with Australia. ARLO_Australia.
Look at it.
Y'all feel me?
Did you ever see that old, it was like a early like meme video where the guy was like
Unforgivable?
Unforgivable, yeah. That's exactly what
I still watch it. That thing is over like 30 years old and I still watch it, dude. It still makes me laugh to this day.
So funny.
It's just so random. Just a dude in the woods shooting in black and white, just talking about random shit and being so angry. Unforgivable.
So anyway, look that up while you're looking us up on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.